Hi, my name is Hailey Webb. If you guys have read any of my posts so far, you would know that I was recently hired as a 911 operator dispatcher for Phoenix Police Department. I will be starting this when I come home from my European graduation trip to myself. So I start this job in July. I decided to go with this career choice for now because I wanted to get my foot in the door of the criminal justice system, and I felt like this was a perfect place to start to where I can gather information about what type of crimes happen in that location, the police codes, and so on and so forth. But going through my education, my goal job, majoring in criminal justice, was to be a crime scene specialist, also known as a crime scene technician, but most commonly known as a crime scene investigator. So I was able to unfold some information about my wanted career through doing the research for this class and then also conducting the personal interview with a prior classmate of mine. For my research, I mostly used Scottsdale and Phoenix because those are the two places that I was just both offered a job for as a 911 operator. So I just looked into those two departments for more information about how they go for crime scene technicians. But in the past, since I have looked into this career, I've looked at many other local police departments, including Chandler and Mesa. So the requirements for the job, mostly, so I've read that you can have a high school diploma, but you're also going to need, addition to that, you're going to need at least an associate's degree, but you look like a much better candidate if you have a bachelor's degree. Some say in criminal justice would be good. Some say you're going to need a natural science, a forensic science, or something of the sorts. Sorry. Disqualifiers of the job are the common ones that you'll hear about. So using drugs, lying on your application, any felony convictions, being dishonorably discharged from the military in the past 10 years, things like that. The working conditions of this job include long shifts. You work shift work. You often, as a new employee, have to work weekends, overnights, mandatory overtime shifts. It's pretty gruesome. You also see some really horrible conditions in the crime scenes, and also you are constantly standing. You're in unideal conditions. It's not a job that works for everybody, but the main tasks of the job are to go to crime scenes. You're called to a crime scene. You kind of do a little bit of investigation. First, you're going to want to document the scene by taking photographs, sketches, video, and then you're also going to want to collect the evidence. That could be like dusting for fingerprints, swabbing blood, things like that. And you're going to want to secure that and then take it to a laboratory for testing. Though the crime scene technician doesn't do the actual lab testing, that would be a forensic scientist. I was not able to find any job openings currently in Arizona, though I have heard a few people told me that Scottsdale is hiring. But as I was looking on governmentjobs.com, there were a couple job openings in Texas for this position, though I'm not looking to move right now. In the salary range at Scottsdale, I found it was about $41,000 to $60,000, and there are also many, many benefits offered, including health, medical, tuition reimbursement, paid sick time, vacation time, and so on and so forth. Once I interviewed, my interviewee, she was Lisa Morgante. I had a couple classes with her. She has worked for a local police department here in the Valley as a crime scene specialist for almost 11 years this summer it'll be. So she was able to give me some really great information about the job. I really respect her as a classmate, and so I knew that she would have some great information to give to me. So she also stated that you need an associate's degree or 2 years of experience in crime scene or related work. Some of the current issues that she stated is that they deal closely with police officers, so all of the officer-involved shootings that are in the media are affecting crime scene specialist safeties as well, because they're so close in working with the police officers as well. Also, some other things is that they're constantly trying to keep up with the new methods and techniques for collecting evidence and so on and so forth, because they're currently, they've kind of been criticized as to how well they're collecting the evidence and if they're giving false testimony and how reliable are they really. So that's become a big issue in the field as well. Some common stressors, she noted that the job is only as stressful as one will make it. But she said for some other people, the common stressors of this job could be the multitasking requirement, the high number of requests for service from the public and from police officers and detectives, the volume of paperwork that comes with the job. There's actually a lot you have to do just as police officers. Every scene you go to, there's paperwork to fill out. Certain types of scenes, obviously, officer-involved shootings, scenes involving infants, just really touchy scenes like that. It could be really difficult for people. But for Lisa, it was about the inter-office politics, where some people had differing opinions and personalities that made them clash a little bit. Her way for dealing with this was just to step away and kind of cool down for a minute, or just to try to bring about more teamwork conversation in the workplace. She shared that the interview process is that you would apply, you would have a panel interview with about 4 or 5 people, and then once you pass that, you would move on to the background process, which is super lengthy. I just went through it. They definitely dig deep in there, so that's something that you have to think about. It takes some time. She also stated that an applicant with a bachelor's of natural science or forensic science or prior experience or volunteer work stands out way more in a crowd. They get so many applicants for this job because of all of the crime scene investigator shows that are out. Has made it a very popular job, but they're very competitive. So they get so many applicants for just one job position. So to have that higher work experience or volunteer experience, you really, or even the higher education, you really stand out more in a crowd of more people. So my assessment of myself in this career was that it's really what I want to do, and I think I could do it. The only problem I always have is that to see those kind of scenes, decomposing bodies, children with their brain blown out, you don't know how you would act in that scene until you're really there. So that's something that's difficult for me, to go through the whole coursework or the volunteering and all that to get to the job, and then to kind of question yourself and not know if you can really handle a situation like that until you're put in it. And at that point, it's almost too late. So that scares me a little bit. And then also I had a professor tell me a couple years ago that she works as a crime scene technician for a local police department. And she told me that they won't even look at you as a candidate unless you had a bachelor's of science degree, which currently, when she told me that, I was already so far into my criminal justice degree that I didn't want to back out just to go get a science degree instead. So I just continued with it, but that really kind of deterred me. So now currently I just don't feel like I'm ready for that position until I do have a degree in science. So I think I'm going to try to continue my education after. I'm going to take about a year's break, and I do want to try to continue to get a natural science degree, possibly in biology or chemistry, so that I would feel like a more confident candidate going into applying for this type of job. I want to make sure that I can really handle this and that I know what I'm doing before I step into this. But I do think in the future this is something I would want to do. Thank you.